fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. I've got the ultimate salted peanuts today. I'm covering so many different topics. Reading screenshots, a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about. But first and most importantly, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for those that reached out to me about my daughter. So many people through Facebook, through text, through email, called, praying for my daughter. Those that didn't pray said, hey, we're sending you good thoughts. I'll take all of them. I'll take all the good thoughts. I'm not one of those, okay? If you're thinking about us, that's all that mattered. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. If you're on Facebook, you saw this week that we had a fantastic report about my sweet little angel. There was no cancer, and so cried like a baby. Just right there, she called me early in the morning and just laid there and cried. I have been tore up for 2 weeks, worried about my little angel. And so to those of you who reached out or couldn't reach out and just prayed or sent good thoughts or whatever you did, thank you. And it was stressful. I don't stress. I don't worry. But that had me. That got me. And it was the way that the doctors handled it is what got me, is what scared me. You know, my daughter and I, we're close. All my kids, I've got 2 boys and a girl, and we're thick as thieves. But my daughter, we talk for an hour a day, 2 hours a day, every single day. On my route, she'll call, and we'll talk for an hour or two. And so, but when she had initially called, when she told me about it initially, she said that the doctor, her primary care physician, had looked at it and it was thought it was some form of breast cancer. And so she's had eczema her whole life. She's been fighting with it. With this kind of cancer that they thought she had, disguised itself as eczema. And how cruel is that, right? And so this doctor, when he saw it, she said he just grabbed her hand and said, Hannah, you got to promise me, you're going to fight. Whatever this is, you're going to fight. Well, hell, that scares the hell out of you. And she told me that, I panicked, and of course I didn't do it to her, but I'm thinking, dear God, what are we dealing with here? And so she said he just kept patting her on the hand saying, Hannah, you promised me you're going to fight. You're going to fight. You got to fight. And she's like, I'm going to fight. What is it? And so they sent her to a dermatologist just to rule out eczema. And hell, when she was being diagnosed by him, he immediately said, we're getting a biopsy on this. I don't like this at all. We're getting a biopsy. She wasn't even supposed to get a biopsy through him. He was just supposed to rule out eczema. But he said, we're going to get a biopsy on this. And that scared the shit out of me because I'm thinking, my God, what are we dealing with now? And so when you don't ever Google stuff. So I start Googling it. I'm like, God, we're fixing to be in the fight of our lives right here. And so you can't be happy. You feel guilty. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Of course, I dealt with my brother, seeing him go from completely healthy to weighing about 80 pounds, So I know what that fight's about. And so, but, you can't be happy. You're laughing at something, you stop and you're thinking, damn, she's probably at home just worried sick. It just changes you. And so, yeah, when she called and told me, she was sobbing, saying, it's not cancer. And so, again, thank you. I owe y'all. I owe you one. So when I get in there, my entire time I'll be in there is for y'all and how y'all show me some love right there with my baby girl. Okay, so I owe y'all big time. Thank y'all so much for that. That meant the world to me, and I know it did her. A lot of y'all reached out to her that follow us on Facebook, and so that was top notch. top notch, and I can't thank you enough. Had a fantastic time at Branch 27 in Memphis this last week. Now, we're fixing to get ramped up in where we're going places, okay? We're fixing to get it ramped up. But the first stop was Branch 27 in Memphis, and had a fantastic time down there with them, and I got to speak. Of course, the next business agent of Region 8, Dana Chambliss, she went down there with us, and she spoke, did a fantastic job, showed her vision. And, of course, the Wolf, James Henry, was down there. And like I said, we're fixing to get busy. Now, if you want us to come see you, go to concernlettercarriers.com and go to Contact Us and let us know, okay? Whoever you are, what branch, and contact us, and we'll come see you, all right? Here's where we're going. Just February and March. This Thursday, Dedham, Massachusetts, will be there. Brother Tom Rooney, who'll be the next business agent of Region 14, he'll be there with us, and got the Wolf there as well. February 17th, Denver, Colorado. February 19th, Phoenix, Arizona. Then we got March 4th, Las Vegas. March 8th, Louisville, Kentucky. We'll be there with the next business agent of Region 6, Walt McGregory. He'll be there. They have a big function for the CLC there in Louisville, Kentucky. Make sure y'all come. That's the 8th. A big contingent of the CLC will be there on that. Now, that's the 8th. We'll be down in Biloxi on the 9th. All right, so we'll be in Louisville, Kentucky on the 8th, Biloxi on the 9th at the regional training, but we'll be there that evening, and we'll have a little something then that evening. The 11th, we'll be in San Jose, California. This is March, San Jose, California. March 17th, we'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. March 18th, Miami. March 19th, Northwest Indiana. And March 26th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All right? And so that's just February and March. And so we'll probably have some more dates there. I think we might have another one in there, but I'll let you know. But like I said, you want us to come see, and the schedule's full. I mean, that's just these 2 months. And I love it. I love getting out and seeing my people. I do. But if you want us to come see you, go to concernlettercarriers.com, contact us, and we'll be there. Now we have, I'm going to talk a little bit about the CLC. I'm going to start that this week, okay? And still going to do a lot of educating. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today as well. But I'm going to start pumping the CLC. It's getting closer, another week closer to August, right? The convention. And then we got the vote coming up after that. So time is passing quickly, right? So far we have 6 business agents, and some regions we'll leave alone. Some regions, those business agents are going to run independent. They're going to run just by themselves. They're not going to run with Renfro, not going to run with us because they think it looks bad, and so they're just going to run by themselves, right? They're going to say, hey, I'll just take care of my own. And so, which is fine. And we'll leave some of them alone. Some of them we won't. Some of them we'll still go after. But so far we have Debbie Dixon. She will be the next business agent of Region 2. You got the ultimate lackey and crony up there in Region 2. He was on one of my episodes once, kind of saying he didn't feel like Renfro was dishonest, which still today blows my mind that anybody could say that. There's nobody in their right mind, in their right mental capacity, could say that Renfro's an honest individual. The way he lied to the city letter carrier, nobody can say that. But he did. And so, he's just a lackey. And I'm sure he's a good guy. I've met him a couple of times, a nice person, lackey. And so Debbie Dixon will be the next business agent in Region 2. Now, Region 2, it covers Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Utah, and Washington. All right, so if you're in those states, make sure you start spreading the word, Debbie Dixon, okay, for the next business agent. And if you've heard her, you know what I'm talking about. Straight savage. And so she's the one that Renfro terminated when she said she's going to run. And so she had some great pictures of her going through Carrier Academy. It was funny. And going through Carrier Academy again. And so she's back to delivering mail, getting a little taste of the workroom floor before she goes back to being business agent when she wins coming up. But that's Region 2. Then you have Walt McGregory, Region 6. That's Kentucky, Indiana, and Michigan. And he will win that one. I love Walt. And if you've been around that guy, he is infectious. The way he is, and a straight up savage as well. I remember we went to the Kentucky State Convention and we walked in the door, and hell, if the business agent didn't leave, and it's his state, packed up his shit and left as soon as we walked in there. And I'm thinking, fucking, this supposed to be a fighter? This is the business agent supposed to be fighting? And he's going to leave just because somebody showed up? I'll tell you this. Wherever I go, I'm the nicest individual you'll ever meet. I'm the least confrontational person you'll ever see. That's just how I am. I'm respectful. I respect where I'm at. I've always been that way. I'm not going to go confront anybody. Now, if somebody wants to confront me, we'll address it. But I'm just like that, you know. But damn, if we didn't walk in and the business agent packs up his shit and leaves. Packs his luggage up, rolls it out to the car and splits. Now this is the business agent. This is supposed to be the head honcho of the region. Leaves because Walt and I show up. But Walt will be the next business agent of Region 6. Extremely knowledgeable individual, still does arbitrations. A fantastic individual. And y'all will get to love that guy if you don't know him. So Kentucky, Indiana, and Michigan. Now, Dana Chambliss, of course, my president for Branch 4, she's going to be the next business agent in Region 8. The most dysfunctional region there is, probably, I would say. And I love the business agent. He is just, he's ruined himself with pride. And another lackey. I mean, if Renfro comes in and says, hey, lick my shoes, he's going to do it. And it's an embarrassment. The office can't stand him. Now, they'll never say that, but I will. He's just a slave driver down there. And Dana's the exact opposite. You know, just look at JB. She has cut him loose, you know, and the way he runs this city, she just gave him that power. And that's how she is. Extremely brilliant. I've had some fantastic presidents in my branch. And my branch is the most influential, the biggest in the region. And she's the best. She is the best I've seen. And so she has no nonsense. Her attention to detail is what we need. You're talking about New Orleans has somewhere around 18,000 cases pending B. No plan whatsoever. And, you know, they're the ones who brought in the C teams with Lucian and screwed over those carriers down there in Louisiana. I imagine that's probably the game plan still. And so they just have no plan, nothing. And it's paranoia and pride have ruined this region. There's no communication between the NBA and the presidents, none. And so, it's depressing because my region used to be the best. And now we suck ass because we have a complacent, lazy business agent who is decided he's just going to kiss Renfro's ass. And so Dana will be the next business agent, Region 8. Then you have Bill Kriebel, Region 12. Don't even get me started on that business agent. So Bill will be a breath of fresh air for that region, trust me. A breath of fresh air. Now, he's got a podcast. He's got a podcast, right? If y'all didn't know. And a lot of these people will start, you're going to hear a lot of them on podcasts coming up. But Bill's got a podcast, and I stated it wrong last time. It's 613 time with Bill Kriebel, okay? It's 613 time with Bill Kriebel. I think I said swipe to 613. It's 613 time with Bill Kriebel, okay? And so you'll hear a lot more about the CLC. A lot more of these business agents are going to get out there and on these podcasts and then on their own podcast, on my podcast. And that way you can, you get to hear the plan. And I don't think that you can get enough of that. But Bill Kriebel, he'll be the next business agent in Region 12. That's Pennsylvania, South and Central New Jersey. All right. And Tom Rooney, and if y'all know that guy, he is a fireball. That dude is a fireball. I remember when I think I talked about this. We went up there when he announced he was going to run for a business agent with the CLC. Hell, I got emotional because he was so fired up, seeing his passion. And so he'll be there this Thursday in Massachusetts when we go up there. He'll be with us. And that'll be Dedham, Massachusetts, but he'll be there. So that's Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. That's Region 14. And that's where he'll be the next business agent. And then you got Orlando Gonzalez. Now, he has a podcast or a Zoom. He does a Zoom the beginning of every month, and it's growing. People getting on there. That dude is very infectious as well. If you know him, he was another RAA that got terminated by Renfro when he announced he's going to run. Personality plus, knows the office, done fantastic things for that region, and he will be a fantastic business agent. That's Region 15. It's New York. Now you got Region 11 is upstate New York. Region 15 is New York, North New Jersey, and Western Connecticut, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. And so those are the business agents so far that the CLC has. Looking at a few others. Some we will leave alone. We'll just leave them alone. But, yeah, so the CLC. Now, look, we're going to start asking for donations. And y'all know how I feel about that. I hate it. But it's the necessary evil of it all is donations. If you go to concernlettercarriers.com, and I suggest you all do that, okay? You can get on there. When you get on there, you'll see endorse and support. Just click on that. You can sign up. It doesn't mean anything. I know that, sadly, like my business agent, the one I have now, is looking at the list of those that endorse and support, and he's calling them, asking them why they're supporting. So it's that kind of Bush League bullshit that I'm talking about, that paranoia, the pride, that they're looking at the list. But look, go on to concernlettercarriers.com, endorse and support. That way you can see everything that we're doing, everywhere we're going, all the updates and everything like that will be on there. And donate. $5, $10, $20, $10,000. Whatever you can donate. Okay? We're going to do a mailing, and that costs money. And so we want to put who we are in every city letter carrier's hands and retirees' hands. Okay? So it will help us get the word out. I know we're traveling everywhere. We got a lot of podcasts talking about the CLC, but we want to put something in every carrier's hands, whether they're active or retired. All right? So go to concernlettercarriers.com. You can do endorse and support. Just sign up, and all that means you're going to get updates and everything like that about what we're doing. You can see who we are. It's got our mission statement on there, and then donate. You don't have to donate a lot. Just donate, like I said, $5, $10, whatever is going to help, okay? And so I'm going to do this more and more. Like I said, it's like bringing your best friend to church and the preacher talks about tithing. It never fails. And so, but it's just the necessary evil of it all. It's just the necessary evil of it all, because we will not fail. We will not fail. I know a lot of people know that Renfro is going to lose. The people that are closest to him know that he's going to lose. Really, there's no other threat, but we got to run through the tape, right? We're not going to let up. Matter of fact, we're going to start putting on more steam here as it gets closer to August in those nominations. But yeah, do that for me, and then I'll keep announcing that, and we'll keep spreading the word, all right? This Thursday, like I said, we'll be in Dedham, Massachusetts, NELC branch 764. And that starts at 5:30 p.m., okay? And so James Henry, myself, and Tom Rooney will be there. Come and talk to us. Come meet us, all right? It's February 12th. And I think that you will love, well, I know that you'll love Tom Rooney. That cat right there is personality plus and knows his shit. All right, let's get into some other things. Don't forget CCA Corner, okay? I've had a few people reach out this week wanting to get in touch with them to express their thanks to them and the things they're doing for the CCAs, and that's important. It's important for James Henry, and it's important to us that the CCAs understand if you've been here one day, you're just as important for those that have been here 30 years. If you're putting on light blue, you're part of the family. That's what I tell any carrier that comes into my station, any CCA. Now, I've got carriers that have been in my station longer than I've been alive, and I'm 56, and they're still working. And I tell them, if you're in light blue, you're family, right? You don't have to work here for 10 years to be part of the family. You're family day one. And that's what every CCA in this country needs to understand. With us, the CLC, if you're here day one, you're part of the family. You're going to get just as much love and just as much fight as those that have been here for 20, 30 years. That's just how it's going to be. James' biggest thing, one of my biggest things is an injury to one is an injury to all. And so CCAs are extremely important to the CLC movement. And so CCA Corner, make sure you're telling your CCAs to listen, all right? CCA Corner, you got the Lion's Den with Paul Bolanger. He's going to be the director of education. That's the reason I love that, is because James Henry has said that education is going to be at the forefront of what the CLC stands for. Education. Y'all know how I feel about education. I've been doing a podcast for 3 years on my own dime, trying to educate my people. Why? Because educated workforce is a devastating thing, and I've always said that. I will always say that. It's a devastating thing when you have managers come in there trying to talk about this old bullshit, and I'm going to talk about something in a minute, a few things. When they come in there with that old bullshit, an educated workforce will know that's not right. That's a grievance. We're going to talk with our shop steward. And an educated shop steward is the most devastating thing. Somebody that runs that floor, that's educated themselves. And that's what this podcast was for. James Henry's thing, that's all he's ever done is educate until he had off his duty strip. But education. And when we talk about education, I'm talking about things that hit the workroom floor. We want grievance starters, something out within a day or two. And that's important to me. When you have, and I'll go over a few things here in a bit, whiteboards. When you have that, hour office time, stationary events, 5-minute PM office time, these things, when they start trickling in on social media, you can see, if you got your finger on the pulse of the city letter carrier on the workroom floor, you can see what's coming. You had those metrics come out, hour office time, stationary events. They're telling you what's coming. We should have grievance starters the next day. Instead, we have 15 different unions with 15 different regions. And one region, a business agent, finally put up, now I'm talking about the other day, finally put up a whiteboard addressing it. Now, when was the first time we talking about whiteboards on here? Y'all remember? I don't know how many episodes I got, but way back in 118, I was talking about whiteboards. You got business agents just now talking about them. And that's a complete failure on their part. But with the Director of Education, with Paul Bolanger in there, we will have things in hand immediately. And so that's all good stuff. And I can't wait to get in there till we get rolling. You also had a few things come out, and these are things that I'm talking about when you get into collective bargaining. And I disagree with my president and some others, business agents and stuff, where they talk about, you don't talk about the wasted money on the grievances, right? The OIG report, you actually had a business agent saying, we don't want to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that because it'll make us look bad. It'll make the carriers look bad that management can't follow the contract. I won't understand that. I'll never understand that because I'm going to put it out there. I'm putting it out there what you did. But you have those, like I said, you've got Barner that talks about the cease and desist and escalated monetary awards. You got Dan Toth talking about we're filing too many grievances, the escalated monetary award. You have business agents talking about escalated monetary awards, which has trickled down to branch presidents talking about escalated monetary awards. We're not going to do that. And I say put it all out there. I want it all out there. The staffing, management, the amount of management to craft right now is ridiculous. It's fat, okay? I want all these things to come out. And there are people that disagree with me on that, saying, hey, that's small things. Those are small things. I don't care. I want all of these things, just like in discipline. I want all the small things. I want to find all the small things, because when you put that in arbitration, all the small things amount to large things. It shows incompetence, okay? It shows a lack of attention to detail. And so when I'm talking about collective bargaining, I'm going to put all of these things in there to show when people say, hey, they're broke. No, we're not broke. We're not broke. We're wasting money. And how are we wasting money? Well, you have an OIG report talking about you lost almost $1 billion in escalated monetary awards. That's a complete failure on management's part. They did not educate themselves. They refused to abide by the agreement. And so that's 100% on them. It will never be our fault. You had this thing come out this week. It says, waste of the day. Postal Service's record payroll leads to losses. Now, here's another thing, okay? Post office in the red, yet payroll increases $9 billion, okay? Top line, the U.S. Postal Service spent a record $42.8 billion on payroll in 2025, while posting a $9 billion loss, according to payroll records obtained by the open books. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to press James and the new attorneys when we get in there on a forensic audit. The carriers want it. I want it. I want a forensic audit of those books. I want to get in those books. We found $1 billion in losses, the OIG did, and they're just as corrupt. But then you have this, talking about the Postmaster General earned $350,000. The new records show the highest salary in post office history. 8 others earned more than $300,000. 8 others. Now, these are people who don't touch the mail, okay? They do whatever else. So people who don't actually do the work that we do, we're the backbone. Now, let's get that out. We're the backbone of this corporation. We are the ones who do the actual work. That's the ones when you talk about the post office, what do you think of? The letter carrier. You don't think of anybody else. You don't think of suits. But you got 8 others earned more than $300,000. 328 employees made more than $200,000. 328. There were 394 people earning that amount in 2024. Nearly 20,000 people made $100,000 or more. The post office brought in $80 billion in operating revenue, $916 million more than 2024. The boost is attributed to strategic pricing increases. Let me read that again. I've always told y'all, this is a moneymaker. The Postal Service is a moneymaker. We make money hand over fist. And it pisses me off when my people, the union, talks about the losses. They've lost all this money. Renfro has already conceded. Now, I know that we're doing all these rallies, and that's great and all this stuff, but he's already conceded the point. Don't look for anything in this next agreement because of the losses. Don't expect too much. He said that. Don't expect a lot during this next round of collective bargaining because of the losses. I'm going to read this. The post office brought in $80.5 billion in operating revenue. $916 million more than 2024. Now, of course, we lost $1 billion because management can't follow the contract. $80.5 billion is what we made operating revenue. and we lost $9 billion. Okay? So it's not the city letter carrier. It's not us. And all these things should be brought out. You need that forensic audit, though. I truly believe that. You need that to show that there's a lot of fat. There's a lot of waste, a lot of fraud. You had that cat getting walked out in handcuffs the other day. Did y'all see that? One that's one of the bigwigs at the Postal Service was getting walked out in handcuffs. It says former USPS logistics official indicted on multiple federal charges for bribery scheme tied to trucking contracts. And so let's get a forensic audit, okay? Let's see where every penny is going. And let's see if we can't put that money back into the city letter carrier's pockets, okay? And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can be done. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and then I'll be done. Next week we'll get into some more stuff, but got a few more screenshots. Now, remember I was talking last week about Bobby Thompson. He's the one who spoke up about the conditions, and he got put on EP. I talked to him this week, and he wanted me to let y'all know thank y'all for the outpouring of love and support for him. He said he's been inundated with phone calls and messages and stuff cheering him on from Light Blue, and that meant the world to him, okay? And so I hadn't talked to him in a little bit, but I think Thursday there was supposed to have been some action there. But Bobby Thompson wanted to say thank y'all. Thank y'all for reaching out, for showing some love and support, and it meant the world to him, okay? Now, he's everywhere right now, but, fantastic guy. Talking to him, man, fantastic dude. And so, wanted to tell you that. Now, look, the Postal Service, everything coming out right now is bad on them, looks bad. You got the OIG report, you got the $9 billion losses. Now, who's going to reap the whirlwind for that? It is going to be the city letter carrier, okay? The city letter carrier, and this is just a personal opinion, the city letter carrier is fixing to have one of the worst years we've had. And it's because, one, collective bargaining. We've got a weak union right now, and the Postal Service will take it out on us. And you're already starting to see signs of that. Take it out on us, these losses, okay? There was a stand-up talk the other day that friend, somebody very dear to me, was talking about, where management says, hey, look, no more talking. You're not here to make friends. We're losing money. And when y'all sitting there talking at your case, that's a time-wasting practice. As asinine as that is, you're going to see the mindset of postal management right now when it comes to us. We are fixing to catch the brunt of these losses. It will not be them. They will not let go of themselves. You will not see some kind of mass termination of management, a reduction in management workforce. You're not going to see that because, first off, it's federal, right? There's always going to be a lot of fat. They're not going to trim their own. Marvin Runyon was the only one that came in and did that. But you're going to see them come after us, and I truly believe that. But that stand-up talk there, hey, no more talking. No more talking at your cases. You're not here to make friends. That's just a time-wasting practice. All right? So if you ever hear that, that's called the golden hour. It's dealt with all the time. You're going to find that in M41, section 112.25. M41 handbook, 112.25. And it talks about attending quietly and diligently at your cases and refrain from loud talking. They cannot tell you not to talk. But it was because of we've lost so much money. Okay, so remember that. When you hear about these things, we've lost so much money. I've talked about this in several episodes about conditioning the frog. Okay, we've been conditioned, and we've done everything we can to fight it here on From 8 Arbitration. Other podcasts have done the same. But they've been conditioning the frog. All these things that you look at when you talk about red line policy, that's conditioning the frog. 5-minute PM office time, that's conditioning the frog. Stationary events, attendance issues, $39.96s, demonstrated performance, $39.96s, no talking, the golden hour, all these different things. And so that's conditioning the frog. All these things that are not contractual, that management attempts to do over and over again. I'll read some screenshots to you, show you what I'm talking about. Here's something somebody put up. Your 5 minutes starts now. Now they're talking about 5-minute PM office time. Your 5 minutes starts now. There are no expectations. Drop your outgoing mail. Now I know they meant there are no exceptions, but they said there are no expectations. So I imagine they probably meant to say there are no exceptions, but it says there are no expectations. Drop your outgoing mail, turn in keys and accountables, punch out. Now that's red line policy and a 5-minute PM office time. Your 5 minutes starts now. There are no expectations. Drop your outgoing mail, turn in keys and accountables, and punch out. Here's another thing that somebody put up. Scheduled times for normal workday. Your route, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Your route, double casing, 7:30 a.m. to 4:15 or 4:45 p.m. Your route plus a 1-hour piece, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now they did no additional time, no travel time. It's just, if it's a 5-minute, now they get this off the $39.99. Anytime you see them put a time associated with a piece, that's off of $39.99, showing what the other carrier did on their route. And so they're going to hold you to that hour. Now, nobody knows my route better than me. I can do a piece in an hour. It may take you 2. It may take you an hour and a half. You know why? Because you don't do my route. I do. And so you're not going to be as efficient or proficient as that as me. And so you've got a route plus a 1-hour piece, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Your route plus a 1.5-hour piece, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Your route plus a 2-hour piece, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Double casing, 15 minutes to 45 minutes. 1-hour piece is 1 hour. No travel time. Now again, that's based off of the $39.99 on the regular carrier's time. 1.5-hour piece, 1 hour and 30 minutes. 2-hour piece, 2 hours. Inclement weather, time should decrease as time passes. A $39.96 must be filled out and handed to a supervisor for any additional time. Otherwise, it will be unauthorized overtime. Here's a whiteboard. Grab the correct scanner for your assigned route. Vehicle keys, check out AKs. Go through packages. Use load truck features. Stand up at 8:45 a.m. and then it's your break time. Get out of the office at 9:15 a.m. 22-minute load time. And so you've got a 22-minute load time. It's on there. I would grieve that anytime they put that on there because there's no such thing. Get out of the office at 9:15 a.m. It doesn't say that's a goal. It says get out. And so I don't know when their start time is, but I'd look at grieving that as well. You got a stand-up talk at 8:45 and then your break time. I don't know what time you normally break, but if they're changing your break time, we're the ones who determine that, right? Here's another thing that came up. Deems desirable. And I'd grieve the shit out of this. But it's something that they handed out. This is a notification of placement onto stations deemed desirable per the ELM section 513. Deems desirable. And it's under United States Postal Service. It's got that heading, okay? 513.361, 3 days or less. For periods of absence of 3 days or less, supervisors may accept the employee's statement explaining the absence, medical documentation, or other acceptable evidence of incapacity for work or need to care for a family member is required only when the employee is on restricted sick leave or, and I got this highlighted and underlined, when the supervisor deems documentation desirable for the protection of the interest of the Postal Service. Substantiation of the family relationship must be provided if requested. Reasons for deeming documentation desirable are as follows. So here's management's. This is their list. It says reasons for deeming documentation desirable are as follows. The first work day following a payday. before or after a scheduled day off, repeatedly on the same day of the week, before or after a holiday, when workload is heaviest, when overtime is required, during inclement weather, when previously refused a day off, when an undesirable job is to be performed, when scheduled to work weekends or holidays, anytime there is insufficient justification. Now that's management saying these are the reasons. After reviewing your absence file, management has determined it necessary to monitor your utilized sick leave. As stated above, you'll be required to furnish documentation for any sick leave during the required dates. It is important to note that according to the ELM, Section 513.364, medical documentation or other acceptable documentation is defined as follows. 513.364, medical documentation or other acceptable evidence. Employees required to submit medical documentation should obtain it from the employee's attending physician or other attending practitioner who is performing within the scope of his or her practice. The documentation must provide an explanation of the nature of the employee's illness or injury sufficient to indicate to management that the employee was or will be unable to perform his or her normal duties for the period of absence. Typically, medical statements such as under my care or receive treatment are not acceptable evidence of incapacitation to perform duties. Supervisors may accept substantiation other than medical documentation if they believe it supports approval of the sick leave request. 513.365, failure to furnish required documentation. If the acceptable substantiation of incapacitation is not furnished, the absence may be charged to annual leave, leave without pay, or AWOL. The dates below were cited as the reasons to place you on deemed desired sick leave. This action is taken to impress upon you that you must adhere to postal policies, failure to meet the requirements outlined above, or other legitimate work expectations may result in discipline up to and including removal. And they've got a supervisor's signature, a station manager's signature, and they want your signature. And so I would grieve this form. It's a locally generated form. It's not promulgated in accordance with ASM. We're not required to sign anything. I would grieve that. And it's deemed desirable. I would grieve that. Okay? They're just trying to circumvent restricted sick leave when they do this. These list of things, I'd ask where I can find these in any handbook or manual when it says the reasons for deeming documentation desirable as follows. The first word, I'm going to put in a request for information. I'm going to say, where can I find these in any handbook or manual? Because they just pulled that out of their ass. Okay? But I'm going to grieve that. I'm going to go over some things in just a second, so get your pen and paper ready. Okay? Had this person, it's funny that was sent to me by somebody else, and somebody else sent me this. They tried to get me to sign a paper to be put on deems. I refused. Then my supervisor was trying to get a PTF to sign the same thing, and I told him in front of her that he does not have to sign that. She snapped at me and said, this is a private conversation, stay out of it. So you had a carrier saying, hey, you don't have to sign that. And the supervisor got pissed and snapped at him, okay? And so, again, they're going to come after us because of their losses, all right? They're going to do things to us. You're going to see this year is going to be hell because of their losses. Today is the second time the supervisor verbally informed me I only have 5 minutes of personal needs time, and my using the restroom time is included in that. PM was standing right beside her, smiling and staring at me. I told the supervisor that's the last time she's going to harass me about going to the bathroom and to not do it again. She was adamant about 5 minutes of personal needs time. Can I file something other than a grievance that will halt this in its tracks? They've done it to another brother in our office as well, and I'm done with it. It's embarrassing and demoralizing to be using the bathroom and another supervisor spying on you from the desk and timing you. They're coming after us. They're coming after us because of their failures, right? We're going to catch the brunt of this. When it can't get any better with these people, we were told that after we punch onto the street time, before or after loading up, we cannot go to the bathroom. It's considered lingering around. we have to do this on office time. And so there's just a handful of things. And I'll keep sharing these because I'm telling you, we're fixing to catch the brunt of management's failures, right? Unfortunately, your union has said that it's our fault. You got Barner going around saying that it's partly our fault, the backlog of grievances. You got Dan Toth, Director of Retirees, talking about we're filing too many grievances, the cease and desist. It's our fault on these things, right? You got management losing billions. You got an OIG report talking about $1 billion in losses due to escalated monetary awards. You got this talking about the salaries is costing billions. And so all these things are happening. And do you know who's at fault? The city letter carrier. We're going to catch the brunt of this. I'm going to read this and I'm going to hit you with something else. And then I'll be done. But you remember when I was talking to you about in the investigative interview last week when they're talking about attendance? And I said, hey, just ask them. What do they consider to be regular in attendance? And who determines that? Well, somebody did it. And they sent me this and it's hysterical. He says, hey, look, went into the investigative interview. He was the steward. And so the carrier was sitting there and they said, are you aware of your requirement to be regular in attendance? And he said, hey, let me ask you something. What does that mean to be regular in attendance? And the supervisor said, I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you on that. They didn't know. In the investigative interview, in the carrier's day in court, they could not tell him what it meant to be regular in attendance. And so then he gets back another day and they have this written and put it as case. Listen to this. 10/23/2025, Steward, I want to get back to you on your question in a timely manner. You asked me what it means to be regular in attendance. The best answer I can give you is from the ELM 511.43. Employees are expected to maintain their assigned schedule and must make every effort to avoid unscheduled absences. In addition, employees must provide acceptable evidence for absences when requested. So to summarize, to be regular in attendance is to maintain your assigned schedule and to make every effort to avoid unscheduled absences. This is the most accurate answer I can find for you. And so it's a nothing answer. It means nothing. You didn't answer anything. You didn't tell me anything. You just quoted some ELM language. But he's going to put that in the file. That's hysterical. Because you call them out in the investigative, hey, what does it mean to be regular in attendance? Let me get back to you on that, because I don't know. And so you come back with some ELM language. I thought that was absolutely hysterical and good for the steward. That's good stuff right there, man. So I love that. Let me get back to you on that. And then you come back with some nothingness answer. But I'm going to read these things to you, and then we'll be done with it. I told you there's a bunch of stuff today, right? It's just a bunch of stuff. So you got, to me, like I was saying, the carrier is fixing to catch the brunt of this, what's been going on with management's losses. We're going to be the ones that are put in the crosshairs. I believe that truly. When you talk about red line policy, 5 minutes PM office time, stationary time, attendance-related things, 3996 is demonstrated performance. 3999s. You won't have a single 4584 done, though. You'll have nobody out on the street. They're conditioning the frog. They've been conditioning the frog. We've been doing everything we can here on From 8 Arbitration to make sure that the carriers are educated. You've got business agents that some are out of their element. They're out of their depth. They have no idea what's going on. You have no education from them. Stewards, branch presidents, when's the last time your business agent sent you something on a red line policy? On a 5 minute PM office time, on stationary time, on attendance, 3996 is demonstrated performance, things like that. When's the last time they've sent you something for that? You know, I got a lot of people telling me that their MBAs will call them just screaming at them, yelling at them, because they didn't do something right or because something wasn't put in the file. And they're saying, hey, but we get no education. We get no help. But these business agents call screaming. And first off, you're never going to scream at me. You're going to get hung up on if that's the way we're going to do business. But Some of these business agents, how they do business, they're just going to scream at people rather than educate people. That's one thing that we will not tolerate when we take over. I'm going to talk to you like you're a human being. We're going to talk to each other like that. We will not raise our voices ever, period. We're going to act like we've got some sense. Now, I know y'all think I've got this certain stigma about me about how I am on from 8 arbitration, but that's not who I am. When you see me, you understand that. When I'm talking to people, you understand that. But that's not how I am. We're going to talk to each other like we got some sense. And we're going to treat each other with respect, especially union people. We're not going to yell at people. You got these business agents that operate like that. They're going to talk over you because they're better than you. They're going to try to dominate you in their conversations. That's not going to be tolerated. You got some of these business agents, some of these resident officers, they're just going down with the damn ship with Renfro. They're the band on the Titanic. They're just going to keep playing right until they drown. And that's just how it is. You got some of these business agents that are the same way. Some of these resident officers the same way. Renfro's not going to make it. He will not. He'll come in third in the next vote if he runs. I don't know if he's going to run or not, but yeah, they're just going to keep playing their violins all the way underwater. And so, but we will keep educating here. I believe that the city letter carrier is in for a rude awakening this year. I think we're going to catch the brunt of it with management's losses. They're going to look at us. They will not look at themselves. Like I said, you will not see a reduction in management workforce. You're just not. And so if you look, and I'm going to give you some numbers, okay, and then we'll be done. I'm going to give you some numbers where we have dealt with these things on from 8 arbitration. All right? And so it's episode numbers where we've dealt with a lot of these things that I've been talking about. When you talk about deems desirable and restricted sick leave, you've got episode 8-2, episode 41, episode 254, talking about deems desirable and restricted sick leave. Episode 103, it talks about an arbitrator's opinions on management's requirement to provide documentation of 3 days or less. That's episode 103. So if you got deems issues like this letter that came out, restricted sick leave, they're going to do deems to circumvent restricted sick leave. They don't want to do restricted sick leave. There's too much on them to do it. They're just going to put you on deems. Most people have no idea they're on deems until they're required to provide documentation. Episode 8-2, episode 41, episode 254, episode 103 is the arbitrator's opinion on management requiring us to provide documentation of 3 days or less. Red line policy. You're going to start seeing that. You saw that in the screenshot I read to you. Don't come in, put your mail here, clock out and go home. That's red line policy. Red line policy, episode 52, episode 67. You got 3996s. We've done a lot of episodes on that. But episode 52, episode 66, you got the CD Palm, the undertime tool. Remember that? That's episode 120. You got the auto pivot, episode 234. The hour office time, episode 78, episode 149, and episode 218. That's the hour office time. Spying and stationary events, episode 11 and episode 105. 5 minutes PM office time, episode 69. 5-minute PM office time, episode 69. Attendance-related issues, attendance-related discipline, episode 8-1 to 8-3. PET and DOAS, which is going to start getting ramped up because they're going to start stealing time from us because of these losses. Episode 52 and episode 59. Now the Lion's Den, episode 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. That's the Lion's Den. Episode 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, that's Pet and DOAS. Route protection, which will cover a lot of these things. Episode 57 and episode 58. Demonstrated performance. Episode 99. Whiteboards, TV screens. Episode 118. And remember, Act of God, this is just one I put in there. Act of God is 137 because we're going to deal a lot with Act of God coming in here with those storms that came through, the ice storms and snow. That's 137. So there's a list. I'll give you another list next week with some more of them, okay? But those are ones that we've dealt with a lot of things y'all are fixing to get hit with, I'm telling you. It's coming. They're going to take it out on the city letter carrier this year. We have got to meet them in the street. Okay? There's no other way to put it. We've got to meet them in the fucking street. Your union right now is a failure. Your business agents are not doing their job as far as educating you on these things. We will do that here, and other podcasts will continue to do that. And so we will just meet them in the street. It's the carriers taking care of the carriers, like we've always done. And like we'll continue to do until the CLC takes over this son of a bitch. And we can get things going like we need it to be going, okay? Charlie Miller will be on next Sunday. Don't miss that. He's a fan favorite. I always get a lot of good comments about Charlie Miller, but he'll be on next Sunday. We'll talk about some other things. If you listen to Joshua Shroom, Parcels of Knowledge, Joshua Shroom, he had Kamitra Simpson Lewis, who's going to be the next vice president of the union. Kamitra Simpson Lewis, she's running for vice president with the CLC. Listen to that interview with her. Fantastic interview with her. Listen to it. She's going to be the next vice president. A brilliant lady. She is no nonsense in the way she does things. Now, she's not going to be one of those that's going to get out there like me and get loud and boisterous and things. She is no nonsense. And I cannot wait for y'all to experience that lady. A fantastic individual, strong in her faith, very determined, understands the mission, understands the position, and I'm talking about a rabid dog, but a quiet one. A quiet one. She's the exact opposite of me. And so that's a good thing though, right? So listen to Joshua Shroom, Parcels of Knowledge, the Rossville Wrecking Ball. Listen to his interview of her if you haven't. It's fantastic, okay? So there's your little salted peanuts. Covered a lot of stuff, but I want to let you know the CLC, I'm going to start ramping that up. Go to concernlettercarriers.com. Donate what you can. All right? $5, $10, $20, whatever you can. But sign up. Sign up so that you can get updates from us. We're going everywhere, and I'll keep you updated on where we're going as well. And the business agents, they'll be there as well talking to you. Ask questions. If you got concerns, ask them. Okay? Ask them. And can't wait. August is coming, man. It's fast, right? It's already mid-February. And February and March is already booked up. But if you want us to come holler at you, get on concernlettercarriers.com, contact us, and let us know, all right? And we'll love to come see you. I promise you that. Better days are coming, okay? This is going to be a rough year for us, I believe. That's my opinion. May not be, but in my opinion, management's going to try to lash out at us because of their failures, okay? And they know that we have a weak union right now. They know that we're in their pocket, an upper union, and so they're going to come after us. But that's okay, all right? We'll surround ourselves down here. We'll circle the wagons, and we'll protect ourselves until we can get in there, all right? I love you. I love you like blue with everything in me. Again, thank you so much for the outpouring of love and support for my daughter. I'll never forget it. I will never forget you. I cannot thank you enough. I owe you one on that one, all right? But I love you. You're family to me, and I cannot wait to get in there at the end of this year, beginning of next year, and start getting it on. as your next executive vice president. I cannot wait. I know James is the same way. He's just chomping at the bit to get in there and start rolling with this stuff. And better days are coming, okay? I love you. Y'all have a fantastic week. I'll see y'all in Massachusetts Thursday, all right? Bye.